Alright, let's talk sanitizers. For starters, you can use bleach. Bleach is okay. It's an okay sanitizer. The advantages are that it's cheap. You can find it in most stores. But the disadvantage, the big disadvantage to bleach, is that you have to rinse it out eventually from your equipment. And that rinse water is not necessarily and not usually sanitize itself, and can contribute contamination right back into your sanitized equipment, therefore tainting your equipment and ultimately tainting your beer. And I've had to pour out batches of beer in the past because of what I think were the side effects of rinsing out bleach from my equipment. So since then I decided to move on, and now for a while I was using iodophor. Iodophor is a iodine-based sanitizer. It's no rinse. It's a pro. The downside is that it stains anything plastic to an orangish color, like your hoses, your buckets, so on and so forth. It's a good sanitizer, good no-rinse sanitizer. It just makes your equipment look ugly, and I did not like that. So then I thought I'd move on to what is now known as Star San. Star San I've been using for years now, and it's also a no-rinse. It's highly concentrated, so a bottle will last you a really long time. And since I started using Star San, I have not had a problem with a tainted batch of beer, and I don't hope to ever. So I'd highly recommend something like Star San for your sanitation. So now that I'm using Star San as my sanitizer, I do a couple things with it. For starters, I make a spray bottle of the solution for quick sanitizing tasks, spraying down countertops, equipment that I need in a hurry, things like that. This stuff works great for that, so I highly recommend getting a spray bottle nearby with this stuff mixed in there. Also, for bigger pieces of equipment or things that you want to soak longer, you can use a bucket, or in my case, I like to use a this is called a wallpaper tray for hanging wallpaper. You know, putting it in there. But I repurposed it. Obviously, I will fill a carboy with about 1.5 gallons of the solution. Rinse the carboy, pour the solution right into here, and then I'll put my hoses, my auto siphon, my hydrometers, my spoons, everything all in here, and I let it soak in here. And so the combination of having a soaking bucket or a tray and a spray bottle are very important to have on hand. We sanitize my spray bottle, both sides of that, as well as all around the package where I plan to make the cut. And I'll let that sit for a few minutes. And you know what, I'm also, just for make sure it's all sanitized, is around the outside lip of the flask where the stopper meets the flask. And I'm going to let that sit for a few minutes before I go ahead and open this thing up. It's time to sanitize the carboy. So what I can do is add about 1/4 ounce of the Star San, which I've already pre-measured in this cap here. Dump it in there. Then I fill it up to about 1.25 gallons full of water. Alright, there we go. So now I just gotta get a swirl, mix it around. And also, since I'm trying to sanitize the carboy, I want to coat all the surfaces with the solution. Up on the end, upside down a little bit, all the way around. Okay, so now I'm going to let that sit there for now for a little bit, and I'm going to actually pour off the sanitizer and reuse it. So with the carboy filled with this solution, I'm going to just go ahead and now empty the carboy into my soak bucket, or my soak tray in this case. And 1.25 gallons fills this thing up just to the right level. That's why I do 1.25 gallons in the carboy. And let it all drain out there. Now I'm going to drain the carboy upside down in a little stand. I'll show you that in just a moment. But for the time being, now I can actually put all my other equipment in the solution, including my hoses, my auto siphon, which I can actually, this is really cool. You just give it a little pump here, like this, and then eventually, yeah, there it goes. So now you can see I can actually fill the entire hose. If you can see this on camera here, I can actually now pump the solution through it like that. just like that, and let it soak. And there you go. See? So now that's all sanitizing, along with some other equipment I'll throw in there later. So with the carboy, there's still some residual solution in there. So I have this thing, this inverted carboy cap that I can just put this thing on upside down, and it will sit there and drain. I'll probably put a paper towel under this in just a moment, but just for the video sake, I just left it like this. But this will sit, and now all the foam will drain out of there. Not all the foam, most of the foam, but the foam is harmless. That's the advantage of Star San again. And this is going to be nice and clean and ready for the beer later. So, as far as sanitation goes, throughout your brewing day, anything that comes in contact with your wort after the boil or has ended and started to cool down must be sanitized. So, spray bottle, soak it, let it drip dry. It's extremely important that once the temperature of the beer falls below something around 160 degrees or something like that, you definitely want to make sure you don't get anything dirty on it. You don't want any bugs flying in there. You don't want your spoon to be on the dirty table and then use the spoon in the wort and the beer. You definitely want to spray that down again. Okay, so it's really important. Keep sanitation at the top of your mind at all times. It's time to add the yeast. You can see here I have my yeast here, and I'm going to, just for sanitary reasons, spray the outside lip where the yeast is going to come in contact with as it pours. Okay, I want to make sure that's nice and sanitized. When it comes to bottling or kegging your beer, you need to sanitize that equipment as well. So what I have here is my 5 or 6 gallon keg. Already had been soaked in my sanitizer solution, rinsed out, and poured out into this adjoining wallpaper tray where I reused that liquid, and now I'm actually sanitizing my siphon hoses as well as my hydrometer flask, which I'm just being careful here. I sanitize everything. So, and I have my trusty spray bottle of Star San that I can sanitize things with at will. So that's really important to do.